Ladies and gentlemen,
No, I thought we agreed I was doing the intro.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. After some technical difficulties, I think we got this thing all figured out. I had to switch to this streaming software that I absolutely abhor. But
Oh, you hate this, yeah.
I do, and I hate this. But
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I think we got everything figured out. But George, okay, let's start all the way from the very beginning. What were we even talking about? Oh, the reason why I wanted to have George on is because, like I was saying before, one of the most common
Andrew,
questions.
you're forcing me to pay $5 a month just to read the chat. Oh
Wait,
no, I can see it right here. I can see
I was
Michelle.
about to say you should be able to see it right there.
Ah, there we go. That's why StreamYard's superior. Yeah, you were asking me about how I was and my recent marriage.
Yeah. So you recently got married to a dude. Yeah, that was
Oh, come on,
he was
man. Why are you
very,
going to do me
very
like that?
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andrew, I gotta say the
You got married.
last.
You got married to Tim Walls' son. Isn't that what
Oh,
happened?
jeez. Did you see the video of him yanking him?
I did, man. I thought that was kind of crazy because the conservatives were kind of going after Tim Walls' son at first for crying. And then, of course, the Democrats completely started to clap back and say, oh, you can't do this. He's got this certain condition. I guess he had a learning disability and some other thing. And then the conservatives were like, well, what about this video of Tim Walz yanking his son across the stage? And then the Democrats are strangely silent about that. That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's the whole storyline was, look at this cool dad. He's like a loving father. His son's getting up to clap for his dad. He's so proud of his dad, and then he's out here getting yanked on stage. Apparently, he has a disability. Like he's not all there, like Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think he has some
Yeah.
sort of neurological disease or something like that. I completely forgot. But George, let's get this back on track. I'm a little bit discombobulated because I was scrambling to try to get this live stream back up and running. I had
Yeah.
everything all in order, and then all of a sudden, I look at the chat and everyone's saying that you sound really echoey. And then I listened to it, and you did. Can everybody hear George? Okay, is this better? It looks like Michelle says it's
Wait,
much better.
how many people are watching?
I
All
really don't know.
millions, your millions of paid, your favorite.
I don't have millions. I have I think right now I have roughly 80 or something like that.
Wow,
So that's not too bad.
they're really joining. They're interested. The beard is like the attraction for them.
Yeah,
So,
dude, I really appreciate my members, man, because I think I've told you about this. Is almost every single one of my morning live streams gets hit with a ad suitability. You know, the orange dollar sign.
wow.
And so I have to have it reviewed by a human, and then a few hours later, it'll always be approved. But after that, the algorithm for that news cycle runs its course. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, back to the topic at hand, George. Okay, what happened to Firebrand? Because a lot of people are asking this, and for those who are coming into my members only area of YouTube, what happened?
So Firebrand. So I remember now because we literally had the conversation on the other stream. It was banned like 2 days after the attempted assassination of President Trump. It was crazy because the thing happened on, was it Saturday? And then Firebrand was banned on Monday. I remember coming out, like I was sitting at my desk and I was like, "Ooh, I'm about to cook." I was about to start making the video and I was like, "Hold on, let me see if I have a notification available." Because you know how you got to have 3 notifications in 24 hours. Let me see if I uploaded a little bit too much. And then, of course, you just see that famous deleted symbol. Basically, YouTube says, because you're banned forever, we hate you, George. You can't have Firebrand. You can't upload on Firebrand Media, even though I didn't own Firebrand Media. We owned Firebrand Media. Michelle owned Firebrand Media. We are Firebrand Media. So
it's like we are Kamala. Did you see when Gretchen Whitmer said that at the DNC?
So
she was like, dude, did you watch the DNC, by the way?
I watched day 1, but by day 2, I just realized it's just gonna be abortion good, Trump bad. So I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
figured I'd
We'll get into
conclude it
that
by
here in a
Monday.
little bit, but there was a part that just reminded me of a part. The last day of the DNC, Gretchen Whitmer comes up and she's giving her speech, and she goes, "We are all Kamala." And I'm
Mhm.
like, what does that even mean? I'm Kamala, you're Kamala, George is Kamala, we're all Kamala. But no, continue. What happened?
Well, that was it. The channel was removed. Anyways, Andrew, the last 4 weeks since then, a little over 4 weeks, have been crazy. So I have been to 2 Trump rallies. I just got back last night from Arizona. So I got back in at like 1:30 a.m. and I went to bed at 3. Dude, I gotta be honest. Arizona hates me when it comes to food, man. I made a video on Twitter and a bunch of Arizonans like, George, you should let me take you out. I would get you way more nice tasting food than you're eating. Well, look, I
Well, how,
tried. Okay.
what do you mean by food in Arizona?
Hey,
How
they out here sending me eggs with no seasoning. They sent me a steak with no cutlery. Like,
wait,
how am I
wait a
supposed
second.
to?
What restaurant? What kind of ghetto restaurants are you going?
Dude, I was at a hotel, like a nice hotel, and I got a steak from that hotel, and it sucked. Like the ribeye was just not a ribeye. It looked like Beyond Meat. That's what it looked
Well,
like.
first of all, why the heck did you like order it like room service, or did you go to like a restaurant in the
No,
hotel?
so that hotel was where like a bunch of influencers were hanging out, and I'll actually tell
Oh.
you a very interesting story about Charlie Kirk, since everyone in here I can trust because they're paying money to be here, right? So yeah, no, we were hanging out with influencers. So you know who Colin Rugg is? No, not Colin Rugg. I met up with him earlier, but you know who Nick Sordo is, right? Sordo, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. I follow him on Twitter. Yeah, I know who that
Yeah,
is.
yeah, brick suit. That guy, the dude with the suit, the brick. So he was there. We were hanging out, and you know that guy Chuck Callesto.
I don't. Is he on Twitter too?
Yeah, he has like almost a million. But he was there too. So it was like a group of Twitter nerds, and I figured let me hang out with them. It was their hotel. My hotel was like 5 miles away.
Oh,
Yeah, so I eventually ordered a steak.
oh, hold on a second. I just looked up Chuck Callesto. Yeah, I do know who that is. Yeah.
Right. There
Okay.
were a few other guys there too. You know that guy Noah Formica, who's always posting about his voter registrations.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where the Turning Point organization had him staying. So he and I talked for like an hour about all sorts of things. But so
So
the food sucked. That's the
so the food at this hotel.
no, but not just that. So when I was at my hotel room the first night, I ordered from a restaurant. I was like, "Oh, Black Bear Diner. That sounds good, right?" I ordered the food, waited for the Uber. I should have known it was a red flag when I put the room number there, but the Uber driver was like, "Ah, nah, come down to the lobby." So I went to the lobby, grabbed the food, opened the box, and there was no cutlery. There was no forks, no knives. So how was I like they really expected me to grab the steak. Ugh, you know?
Dude, you got to go beast mode, bro.
Nah, I'm not fossil fuel, man. I'm not a caveman.
Have you
So
seen that? Have you seen those videos on Twitter of it'll be like this girl, like really pretty, like blonde girl, and she'll be sitting at a table, and there'll be like this giant steak in front of her, and she'll be looking at the camera, just like dead into the camera, and she'll just grab the steak with her bare hands and just start chowing down, dude. I don't know why those videos have been coming up on my Twitter, but I think the last one I saw, she did it with like some sort of massive piece of cake or something like that. But she's like this really pretty girl. She's like in formal wear and just giant steak, and she'll just grab with her bare hands. It's reposted by one
I
of the
did not
big-
feel like that. I felt like it was racial discrimination because they thought black men don't know how to use forks, I guess. I don't know
oh
why I
yeah.
think. Look, all I'm saying is, Andrew, this is not the first time it's happened to me. I was in Arizona like 4 times or 3 times in 2021, and every time I ate food, it sucked, bro. It really, like, they hate me. I think it's the water or something like that.
What kind of food is Arizonan food? Because like I mean
There is
like
no Arizonan food. It's just
well,
what we would eat everywhere else, except they make it worse.
well, I get it, but like so like in Wisconsin, you think of like Wisconsin food, you'll think of like I don't know cheese curds
Cheese.
or fried cheese curds, or you go to Texas, you think of like Tex-Mex. You know, I'm sure each state kind of has their special food.
I
Arizona
guess
doesn't.
Arizona kinda has similar things to Texas. There's a lot of Hispanic food there too, but that's not my taste. I like bland,
You don't like
but
Mexican food?
seasoned. Nah, I'm not a fan. Like,
Oh, come on,
it's
dude.
too much.
That's one of my favorite foods, Mexican food.
That's
Really
the
is.
food that got you sick and you couldn't do a show that one time. So, in fact, you should hate it now.
I
Anyways,
love it.
let's digress because all I'm saying is Arizona hates me when it comes to food. But you want to
Okay,
hear
so
about the Mon?
food in Arizona bad. Food
Okay,
Arizona sucks.
no,
Okay,
yeah,
I have another question though about Arizona. How the heck did you even get into the rally, the turning point event? Because the reason why you did get in, right?
oh yeah, I
Okay,
was sitting like six
no,
rows from
hold on.
Trump.
The reason why I asked is because I was listening to Robert Guevara. This was just the other day, and he did kind of like a whole recap of like RFK endorsing Trump, you know, when he gave his press conference, and then I guess he showed up to the Turning Point event. I think it was like 2 or 3 hours prior to it starting. He wasn't able to get in,
Wow,
and
that's
yeah,
very
he was
important,
not able to get in. And he said he was like he really wanted to, but he was not. And then I saw
dude.
the video that you shared to Twitter where people were,
That video,
well, how did you get in?
that video was the start, bro. We had to walk for an hour, and we still weren't at the front of the line. Okay, so I'll explain. Let me talk about Bozeman, Montana, because that's the big one, right?
We'll talk about that after Arizona. So we're already on Arizona.
Okay, you don't want it to be timelined, like from my first Trump rally, losing my Trump rally virginity to now, like where it's like,
Okay, I guess we can do that. Let's
okay,
go
okay, because
through
I
those.
think your people are really gonna love the Arizona story when we get to it. But
Okay, so
so
stick around, guys. We'll have that Arizona story in a little bit. So Bozeman, Montana, what happened? How was that?
okay, so it was like on a Sunday or a Saturday. I looked up the Trump rally event. I never really looked this stuff up. I was like, oh, Trump rally. Like, let me see if there's one coming up. I was just like, let me see, because I'm thinking like Twitter terms, like, let me see what the next big Twitter day might be where I need to be ready to, take clips from stuff. And then I see Trump's coming to Montana. And in my mind, for some reason, I was like, oh, Montana's close. It's not close. But in my mind, I'm like, that's Montana. And I was just curious, so I looked up flights to Montana, and apparently Montana doesn't have any giant airports, so you'd probably have to go to 10 cities just to get to Montana. But I was like, "Oh, I wonder how long it would take to drive." I've never been on a road trip more than 4 hours. I mean, can't be that long. Yeah, it was like 12 hours. And I'm like, "Okay, maybe I could do that because if I get out of my house at like 9, I'll get there at 9, so 9 to 9, like, it's not that bad, right?
Oh, it was 12 hours from where you live in Colorado to Bozeman,
Yeah.
Montana. Did you drive yourself, or I saw that you and another guy who had a cyber truck were doing some stuff. Is
No,
that
no, that was unrelated. That was before. Like,
okay?
that was us going to Grand Junction, Colorado to cover the trial of Tina Peters.
Okay.
Mm.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
see,
that here in a sec.
you
But let's.
you just, like, jumped to other things. So, no, it was me by myself. So I called my homie. He's connected. He knows everybody, and I said, "Joe, I gotta get in that Trump rally. You gotta get me in there. You gotta treat me nice." He calls Mike Lindell, and he has me come to his office the next day, which is the day I was driving to Bozeman. So the rally is on Friday. I'm driving there on Saturday, or on, sorry, Thursday. And I leave Bozeman on Saturday, right? So it's like a 2-day trip. So on Thursday, I drive to his office. I get these special access passes made as press, but I didn't really understand what it meant. Like, I'm press, like I'm gonna be sitting there with the press. I thought
Like,
I could go anywhere with these.
basically.
Yeah, because from what he told me, he said I could go anywhere with these. So, anyways, I go to a black barbershop in Denver before I start, getting on the highway, And all the black barbers hate Kamala Harris. Like they really just, bro, it's so crazy. But only like one of them said they were voting for Trump, but all of them were like, we hate Kamala. Like they didn't just dislike her or were skeptical. They hated her. So I thought that was interesting. I get on the highway, 2 hours in, I get a call, and it's Joe. Mike Lindell's gonna call me. Okay, Mike calls me, and hey George, he starts selling me pillows on the phone. He's like, I'm trying to get you into the event. I'm like, well, I just had the pass. He's like, no, not that pass. And then he gets my info. He tells me he's gonna send my number to somebody, and it's the Trump campaign. So somebody from the Trump campaign's like, hey, look, we hear you're coming to Bozeman. We're gonna try to get you taken care of, and we're gonna get you press access. And I was like, okay, see, I'm driving. I'm only thinking about getting the next city, so I can feel like I made progress. I'm like, okay, cool. But damn, they just said press. I don't want to sit back with press. I want to just attend the rally, right? So I called the lady again. I say, hey, look, I think her name was Paige or something. Hey, Paige, this is my first Trump rally, right? I'm losing my virginity with Trump rallies here. I want to just sit down. And she's like, oh, we'll get you taken care of. And she was the media team, so they moved me over to the normal people team, and they got me hooked up with like a special guest thing. So your boy, when I got to Bozeman, I got to skip that long, bro. Those lines were long, right?
Dude, I
That
bet, man.
long.
I've been seeing these time lapse video. Dude, when I was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, I went to that Trump rally, and I got there probably an hour prior. Dude, it took me like 2 hours just to get into the event, and it was raining and
Wow,
snowing outside. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. I
wow.
called you. I was like, "Bro,"
Yeah,
'cause
that's when you
like,
called me.
yeah, you
You know
said
what's funny?
you're like, "Yo, I might have someone that can get you in." I'm like,
I
"Heck
I,
yeah,
I
man."
genuine. That's what I was about to say. I think I could have gotten you in there quicker.
Oh,
Like
dude, it
I
was brutal. It was so cold,
because
dude,
you're
and
an
then
influencer. They want to
bro,
see you there.
I looked behind me, dude. When I got there, the line was probably about a block and a half long. But as we stood there, it stretched across, and where his event was, it was right by a river. It was like 4 or 5
Oh,
blocks away from a river, and then there's this bridge. So by the time I actually made it into the building, the line stretched across the bridge, dude.
oh,
It was
jeez.
it was crazy. It was crazy, dude, and it was dude, I'm saying, man, it was brutal weather. It was windy. It was like, the wind was like 30 something miles an hour. It was wild. It was windy,
Yeah,
it was snowing, and it was like sleeting, like sleet/rain. Dude, it sucked, and people
that's
still
the
stood there.
worst. It's like double the pain.
Yeah, and the sad thing about it is, like, a lot of them were turned away because that event only held, like, I wanna say 3,800 people, maybe 4,000 people, so
Wow.
but going
It
back, so Bozeman, Montana,
it was really good. I mean, Trump's energy, bro.
but that's the first
I never thought in my life I would be chanting another man's name. I always thought like, oh, it is kind of like, okay, cool, you love Trump, but I'm not gonna be out there, Trump, Trump, bro. Like when he comes out, bro, you gotta join in because it's like you feel that moment, that aura.
yeah.
That's what it is. I was out there chanting Trump. I talked to Tim Sheehy. I don't know. I probably talked to you about him on Firebrand. I told you he was like a Mitch McConnell plant. He and I squashed the beef. I literally told him like I went after you hard on Twitter, and he was like, "Why?" We spoke for about a few minutes, and he took the time to understand why I was against him at first. But I think he's a genuine guy. He employs like a lot of people.
Is he a businessman?
And yeah, he's a business. He has a aerial fire trucking company or firefighting company. So when there's a fire, he'll have his guys fly a plane under contract with the government to take that fire out. And I sat next to someone who was like Ronald Reagan's doctor. Like he was one of the doctors on Ronald Reagan's team. Because the whole like special guest place is like a bunch of it's rich people, donors, business owners, so they got all those passes. I'm just sitting there as like an influencer or whatever that's called. And this guy was telling me that Tim Sheehy, his plane saved his house and his community from getting burned. So there's like a personal reason to support him. So yeah, Bozeman was a really good rally. I got to meet amazing people. I saw Michael Watt. Like, dude, you just see these people right there, the chairman of the RNC. I felt like going up to him and just saying, "Hey, man, we gotta get ready to do that election integrity stuff. No more talk, just do some stuff." But I was like, "Yeah, look, this is my first Trump rally. I don't want to ruffle any
When
feathers yet."
when you saw Trump, man, because for me, like I was there, I was probably I want to say maybe 7 or 8 rows back from where Trump was. Was it like was it odd to see him in person? Like that's like because when I was standing there, because obviously everyone's up, everyone has their cameras out. I didn't have my camera out very much. I would take only short clips because I didn't want to like to stand there and just film everything. I just kind of wanted
Me
to
too.
take it in.
I didn't put my phone out when he was walking out. Like I'm like, come on, just enjoy it, take it in. This is probably
Yeah,
one of the most iconic. Yeah,
I took some crowd shots and stuff like that, but for the most part, I didn't have my phone out very much.
Mhm.
But yeah, when he came out, it was kind of weird because this was a guy I've talked about so much. I've heard about so much in the
Yeah.
in the media. I've heard other people talk. Dude, I have hours and hours. And then he's standing right there. It's kind of I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know why I can't think of the word right now, but
Surreal, I guess.
for real, yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. Did you kind of have that same moment or that same feeling?
It's weird because I think I did, but because of the energy in the room, I didn't really realize it until after the event. I was like, I just saw a Trumper. I just saw that guy in person.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like he's a real person. You're like, holy
yeah,
crap,
yeah, he's
he's
not a
real.
caricature or something like that. He's like
Yeah,
when he makes jokes, it's so different when you hear it on TV versus when you're there. Because you like everyone's laughing in person, right? On TV, you don't hear everyone laughing. So you just hear him make the joke and a few, cheers. But he is so much funnier when there's an audience, even though you hear the same things. It's just the way he brings in the jokes, incorporates it into his speech. It's amazing. And then I love what he does. He'll point at someone that, the governor, you'd be like, Governor, I don't know why they're doing that, right, Governor? Like he'll just kind of engage those people in the crowd, the people that he knows, and he'll make it really personal, right? He'll personalize the speech to the people he's talking to. So that was Bozeman. Now you're talking about Arizona, which was on Friday, and how I got there.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Well, so we were talking about how you got there, why you went there, and how you actually got in. Because, like I said, I was listening to Robert Guevara, and dude, he's got a mega YouTube channel, and he wasn't able to get in. He had video. He actually on his show, he was showing video of how long the line was, and it was a video that he himself made. And in the video, he talks to someone at the end of the line, or someone in the line saying that they just shut down, or they're at capacity, so they can no longer fit anyone else in. And he was all disappointed. I was like, how is this guy not able to get in? He's got a massive audience on YouTube. He's not able to get in, but maybe he just showed up there just as a normal person. But how
okay.
did you? So yeah, tell us about why you went to Arizona, how you got there, and how you actually got in.
So it was. Hold on, I got to get the right date. It was Saturday. Charlie Kirk posted the like promo for the event. He was like, Trump's coming to Glendale. And that was like the announcement, like, oh, that's huge. Trump's coming to Glendale. And I made I jokingly replied to him, like in the post he made. I did like a poll. Should I go to Arizona and attend the rally? And yes or no. Of course, everyone was like, yes, come on down, right? Come on, George. And then Charlie Kirk responded to me. I was at Top Golf. I was like, I wasn't even home. I didn't realize until I came home. He responded to that post and said, "We would love to have you. Yes, come," or something like. I don't know what he said exactly. And then he saw I didn't respond to the reply, so I don't follow Charlie Kirk. I didn't follow him until that point. He follows me on Twitter, right? In that moment, he follows me like 20 minutes after because he sees I didn't respond. I didn't respond, and he DMs me and says, if you're coming, please let me know. And I'm like, Charlie Kirk is like one of the most. So I'm geeking out, like, what? It can't be him. Then I
That's
looked at the timeline. I'm like, no, it's him because he wouldn't like go out of his way to do that. And I got confirmation that it was him. And then I'm like, okay, should I book a flight? I look at the flights; they were expensive. So I almost just said, man, maybe next time. But I was like, if this guy's inviting me to his event and he's the event organizer, maybe I should go because it would be a really interesting moment.
Heck yeah,
So
plus it's a turning point event. That means that there's gonna be a lot of different, pretty interesting speakers, like who's who of the conservative
yeah,
movement
yeah,
right
yeah. And I know everyone in Arizona, so I was like, I want to go meet up with some of the people I met 2021 and early 2022. I want to go meet up with Kerry Lake and Abe Hamaday. Those are my favorite politicians. Eli Crane. I was like, I want to see these people in person. So I booked the flights. Very expensive, but I booked it because I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. And I text him and I say, hey, look, Charlie, if you get me to meet Trump, like get a picture with him, I'm naming my kids after you. And he said, this is how I knew it was him speaking. He said, it's going to be very hard, but I'll try my best. And he was like, I'm on it. And I told them I got the flights booked, and he sent me like a link, like a I don't know, like a seating, guest thing, for a access pass. I signed it. Boom. Fly to Arizona on Thursday, and the most ridiculous thing happened. Well, no, on Wednesday you started getting the links that RFK might drop out. So I started, and then the event he was going to drop out at was in Phoenix. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be in the city. So
So this
I'm
is this is kind of going into the RFK stuff, dude. And when I
right.
saw you were at that RFK event, because I know you went to the RFK event first and then you went to the Turning Point event. I was so jealous because, dude, I live streamed the event, but watching it, man, it seemed like such a historical moment for a Kennedy
It was so crazy.
endorse a Republican or someone like Trump who's such a device. I mean, you can like him or hate him, but he's a divisive figure. Trump is, and
Yeah,
he's
he
a very
divides opinion. I
he's a
wouldn't
very
say
well. I guess I should say he's a very polarizing figure. And then you have a
polarizing.
Kennedy endorsing a Republican, Donald Trump. I think that was a huge endorsement, personally.
Right. That's so true. So that's so when around Tuesday and Wednesday, when those links started coming out, I started getting real giddy. And then I saw it was in Phoenix. So I like signed some form on their campaign, and I said, hey, I have a Twitter account. I want to really show up for this. I wake up on Thursday about to go to the airport, check my email, and they declined access to me because I'm not like credentialized or something like me.
Yeah.
I'm not like real media. So I was like so bummed for like an hour, but I'm like, all right, cool, let's just go. And then I saw someone who follows me on Twitter. She's like a local reporter down there. Her name's Rachel Alexander. And she posted that she was going. And I was like, oh, she's a reporter in Arizona. That's pretty cool. And she talks about election integrity, and she follows me. So I was like, I've seen her on one of my friend's shows. So I call him and I'm like, I got to get her number. Not because I'm trying to take her on a date. She's like 40, but I got to like talk to her about this RFK event when I'm in Arizona. Um, so I go to the airport, and at the airport, I connect with her. No, screw that. That's not when it happened. No, I go to Arizona, right? I have to drive to the airport, park my car. I almost missed the flight, by the way. Like boarding ended a minute after I showed up. Like I take all the risk, bro. My flight would be at 4, and I'm showing up to the airport at 3:30 because I'm not, and that's when I have to go through security. Security was so long too. Even though I have TSA pre-check, you would think it was shorter, but it seems like everyone has the same thing now. So what's the point of having it? Anyways, Andrew,
Yeah. Digress. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I digressed. So I land in Phoenix. I call that person after I go to bed, right? Because I landed pretty late. The number came to me, and I call Rachel, and I'm like, Rachel, are you going to the RFK event? She's like, yeah. As a reporter, I have the credentials. And I was like, is there any way I could come in? She was like, it's going to be hard because, the way it's tight, like Secret Service, all that, you got to be on a list. And then I was like, I wonder if anyone on RFK's team follows me. So I go on X. This is all happening because of X. So I go on X, Andrew. I
Bro,
click on RFK.
you got so much clout, dude. It
I go
pisses
on
me off.
RFK's team. I go on RFK's team, and there's a guy. You know how he has the logo. He's like affiliated to them, so he's
Yeah.
he's like an official. So I DM'd him. I said, "Hey man, I see you follow me, and you work for RFK. I'd love to attend this event and cover it. I have the Twitter account that you follow, so you know about me." And he was like, "Oh, sure, let's see. I'll send your info to the team on the ground. Give me your info. Boom, 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 boom." So I think I was in. I still didn't get confirmation from the team or anything like that. But Rachel says if I get there, she'll come out of the building, she'll save me a seat somewhere and hope she can talk me in, you know? So I land in Renaissance at the Renaissance Hotel in Phoenix, which is where that took place. My Uber driver was the Sudanese guy, if you read my Twitter, whose wife is pressuring him to vote for Trump. He was like, "My wife is like a diehard Trump supporter because of the border." They were talking about because they're legal immigrants. They're talking about the border and saying it's like a slap in the face, to them. And they're voting for Trump. They're going to be voting for Carrie Lake. I was like, okay, that's really cool. So I was really happy getting out of that Uber. I go to the line. These reporters, Washington Post, New York Times, like all of them, they're all there, and you can tell they were because they had the badges and they look like dorks.
And you felt the evil aura just oozing
Yeah,
from them too, right?
yeah. One of the girls there, Andrew, she looked like she could have been pretty at some point, but because of the liberalism, she was dressed so sloppy, right? She had these weird looking jeans on. She just looked so unprofessional. Like she didn't look like someone graceful, but they were in line, and so were we. I
That
was.
that reminds me, did you see that video that was posted? It was some guy that was acting as a reporter at the DNC, and he was trolling everybody as
Oh, that was so good. That was
that
so
was
good.
so good. But the funniest part was when he got that one blonde girl to admit or say that that
She
women
values abortion
no,
over
not that. No,
democracy.
that women could not find an attractive Democrat.
Oh, that was
Part.
crazy.
I thought that was perfect. And he was like, yeah, he's like, oh, you're so bad, you're evil. And you're like, yeah, they're like, yeah, we love the evilness. It's like, no, it's not. It's women, it's Democrat women, even though they like to say one thing, they're still women. You know, they still value a masculine man. I found that very interesting because he was
Dude,
trolling.
I told you about the chick I went on a date with once, right?
Yeah.
Where she was like talking about vaccines. She knew I was like not a liberal, right? But she was a liberal. So, bro, these chicks are like they lie about their like they're attracted to every masculine trait that is associated with conservative men. They don't like liberal dudes because they think liberal dudes are useless. They can't do anything for them. They're not strong. They're not
I think this is what I think. I think
biological.
they're attracted to masculine men. There could be some masculine liberal guys, but it's not. You know, it's more so on the conservative side.
The
I think.
Krasestein brothers.
Yeah. I think this is what I think. I think that women, for a lot of these like effeminate liberal guys, I think some women, they enjoy having the power over them, so they'll trade that out for being attracted to a masculine man. They'll trade that out to power because a lot of these effeminate men, they will kind of divert. They'll kind of allow themselves to be controlled by a woman.
Yeah.
That's my, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that
Well, no, they say they're attracted to the power, but like
no, they just
when
like the power. They're not attracted to having the power. They're that's not attractive, but it's like a whole different a whole different thing.
but when a guy that is assertive shows up, they just fold like a tent. Like they
Yeah,
immediately
that's
become
what they're
very.
really attracted to. But a lot of women, they just like that power over a
Yeah,
guy. You know?
that's a good point. So, anyways, Rachel comes to the front, and they said they didn't get anything from that guy, and like we don't know who he is because his handle was a little weird, but he was part of the campaign team. But I mean, we're like, hey, look, we got Twitter, firebrand. All right, just put us in here. Just let me in. And I flirted with one of the girls, and she was already out here smirking, blushing. So she started putting my name in. I was like, hey,
You
you're
wanted
not
that
reporting
chocolate
me.
super fan, eh?
I said, you're not reporting me to the FBI, are you? And she's like, no, we'll get you in. And then they got me in. And then I walk in, and the seats I had that were prepped for me were front row, bro. Like
I
they
saw that.
they hooked me, bro. I should have taken a picture of exactly where I was sitting. I'm here. RFK's right in front of me, bro. And then
Dude,
Chris
that's when
Uchenko,
I messaged you. I was like, dude, why are you not live streaming this? But I didn't think it's probably didn't have a very good reception, or the
No, not even that. I
it
think
might have been.
I think the moment was, well, first of all, it's really hard to like record stuff and know the right moment. So I'll hit record right after you just said something important and then end it. And then he says something really important. And then I'll try to like paraphrase on the tweet. And by the time I'm finished in tweeting, he already said some more important stuff. So the people at home have it better. But I was just really happy to be there. I met up with Senator Wendy Rogers again. I don't know if you know who she is. She's
Oh,
the
dude, yeah,
grandma.
she follows me on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
she and I got into a 40-minute conversation about, because she's the chair of the state elections committee, and I was like, Wendy, you got a real job to do in November. You better not certify if they do what they do, right? If they cheat. And she was like, oh yeah, yeah, of course. Boom, boom, boom. But, she's like a grandma. She just talks about everything in
Well,
her life.
going back a little bit to the RFK speech, you were there. I was live streaming it, which is, it's weird, dude, because like as soon as I finished that live stream, it got hit and it got blocked everywhere. The whole thing got completely blocked. It was copyrighted by
By who?
some media company called Sinclair on the behalf of ABC or something like that. So
Bruh, they can't claim
that's
an address to the nation
yes,
unless you use their stream.
dude, that's what I said. What I did is I did a, what do you call it? A challenge. And where it says like you have to put in like why you're challenging it, or why you feel like this is not a copyright issue. I said this is a presidential candidate addressing the nation. You can't this is not something that's copyrighted.
You don't own that content, yeah.
Yeah. So it was shortly after that. It was like 5 minutes later they released it. It was really weird. But
Wow.
no, I was listening to RFK, and at first, man, I got a little bit nervous when he started talking about what he was actually doing. He was suspending his campaign. He wasn't actually ending his campaign. He was keeping his name on the ballot in certain states, and then in the battleground states, he was taking it off. Were you getting kind of nervous he wasn't going to endorse Trump? Because I was.
No, I knew he was going to endorse Trump, but when he laid out the strategy, I was like, oh, that's actually better than what we could have gotten. Because what he's doing is, so he's taking his name off the ballot in like 10 swing states, or close states like Virginia, like states that could be in play for Trump.
Arizona, he's off the ballot in Arizona too.
Yeah. So all the swing states he's off, but in the red and blue states he's on, so that people can vote for him without consequence. And I think if people vote for him, they're going to kind of send a message to the establishment that we don't like this two-party uniparty system. We want a consensus. We want real government that's accountable to the people. I like that. But apparently today, he told Dr. Phil that his team did polling of their supporters, and 57%, so almost 60% of them would vote for Trump if RFK dropped out. So he, thought, hey, I could cost Trump the election here and make Kamala Harris president. So that was one of the fueling factors that brought him to do that. But when I was watching that man speak on stage, dude, there was a moment where I thought he was crying. I mean, he was so
crying. I saw a tear. I saw literally a glint of a tear in his eye. I think he was crying.
He is so passionate. See, this is the beauty of it. He is so genuinely passionate about chronic illnesses with children, in the food and the chemicals we're just feeding kids. He was so passionate about that. And that's the perfect person Trump needs in his cabinet. Someone who admittedly doesn't really care about Trump as like, I love you, I'm going to bow down, but someone who cares about an issue and will do everything in his power to correct it.
Yeah, and I think that's what really ultimately pushed him over the edge to endorse Trump, because I think he realized like, hey, listen, I'm so passionate about this, health issue in our country. If Kamala gets into office, our freedom of speech is at stake. So,
yeah.
That's, even though I might disagree with Donald Trump on all these other issues, if I can't speak about something I'm passionate about, I mean, that's it. That's all she wrote. Game over. And I think that's what ultimately pushed him over the edge and caused him to endorse Trump. I mean, because, dude, I never would have thought he would have endorsed Trump. They were similar.
I never thought it either.
When I heard that, I was like, no freaking way. So it's great. But moving on to
No, hold on. We ain't. So
Oh, you're not done yet. Okay, yeah.
after we finish the press conference, I get interviewed by a local news channel. They're like Arizona 11 or so, or Family News, and it's a liberal reporter, I guess. And I guess I don't know if they aired it on TV because I was just spitting facts. I was like, this is going to hurt Democrats' his decision. He's basically endorsing Trump in the swing state. Like, I was cooking them. So I don't know if they're going to air it. Jim Hoft was also sitting next to me from the Gateway Pundit.
Yeah.
And because he and RFK are really good friends. So he flew in to be there for that. So we drive to Glendale. So that was like a 40-minute drive from Phoenix. And we think it's the line's short because it looks like everyone's already gotten in, because we thought the venue was the giant stadium for the I don't know what the football team in Arizona is, but we thought that okay,
Cardinals, isn't it?
Yeah, or Arizona Cardinals. We thought stadium's full, we're good, or there's people, but then we started walking in what looked like the line, and my gosh, we didn't realize it wasn't the stadium. So when we walk across and there's that giant line, we're starting to realize, it's somewhere else. We're cooked. Because even though we were special guest, it didn't matter because we could just not make it there in time. I start talking to people and they're like, they had to come back. Some people were like, it's full, but we were like, okay, we're special guests. It shouldn't be full. They don't just hand out those passes, when they think, they only let people in if all the special guests have gotten into the area. But we keep walking. The Washington Post chick from the RFK event, she comes up to us and she's like, "Oh, where are you guys going?" And we're like, "Oh, weren't you at the RFK?" Yeah, she's like, "My name is such and such from the Washington Post." She's such a brat,
Democracy dies in darkness.
Yeah, like she sounds like she's such a, like, it's so annoying how they sound. But we're like, we can follow you because she's like, I'm press. I'm like, come on, all right, we're all going towards the same line. We're going to the same line. So we start following her, and she's cutting the line, and we're cutting the line too, as we should, because if we stayed in that line, the lady I was with who drove me there would have fainted, bro, because that heat was no joke. We're talking 120 degrees outside, and there's tens of thousands of people lined up to see Trump. So we're walking. Andrew, we get to a building after like 20 minutes of walking, and we think, that's the inside of the building because there's like access. We go inside the, nice AC air conditioned building. We come out, and it's like they just gave us the air conditioning for like 30 seconds, and then we're walking again to the other side of the street. And then we walk again. We keep walking. We walked for an hour, and this line never ended. So we go to the special guest line. Some guys like, just come with me, right? And we go through security, and then it shocks us. We go to the special guest area. It's full because they stopped giving the passes. So anyone can walk in there into that area. And we did not know that. So guess what? We were forced to find whatever available seats we could. We found seats at the back. And then I was like, I forgot about Wendy Rogers. She's literally going to get us here because she has her own, like the front, like
yeah.
Like Trump's
That's
here.
where all the Trump people are, yeah.
Right, like where all the senators are, Carrie Lake, where they're all sitting. So Wendy Rogers has her own row in that section because she's like, I guess, a big deal. So I text Wendy. I'm like, "Hey, Wendy, what's up? Where are you sitting?" And she's like, here, right, 6 rows from Trump. Like one. I'm like, okay, that's close. And she's like, "Where are you sitting?" I'm like, "Next to liberal reporters." And she's like, "Okay, how many seats do you need?" And I said 4. And she had exactly 4 seats. It was this divine intervention. So she reserved them, had them post some stickers on there, and we walked another 10 minutes inside the venue because there's too many people just to get to those seats. And we're sitting there, and I see all my homeboys. I see Mark Fincham, who's about to become a state senator again. I see Sonny Borelli, who's currently in the state Senate. Carrie Lake was sitting in front, like in the front row. So I couldn't say hi to her, but I did say hi to Abe, who was sitting in the front row, but closer. Eli Crane was like, "I see your stuff on Twitter." I was like, "Man."
Dude, Eli Crane is a man.
I told them, bro. I saw Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs. I was like, you guys screwed Kevin McCarthy, man. I love you guys. And they were just really happy. It was good. So we watched the rally. It was next level. But you know what I'm gonna do now? Every rally I go to, I gotta have like a. Oh, then I realized I could have sat in a even better place, like where the brick suit guy was sitting, almost in the front row. If I
Oh
just
yeah,
made a
yeah.
text mess, if I just made a message to a certain someone, like,
Right.
I could have just texted that person and been
Hey,
like, "Yo,
hey,
I need to sit here."
what was up with so I noticed there were people that really wanted to take a lot of time on the stage. Now, Carrie Lake, it happened with her. And dude, but the one that really cracked me up was that cop.
Oh, Andrew, forget about that. So hold on,
No,
let's
dude.
come back.
Okay, we gotta talk about this, dude, because I was sitting there and I was
Let's
just
come
like,
back. Let
it
me
was
tell
so
you
fun.
something. Charlie Kirk is my favorite man right now, man. Like, no homo. I love that man.
Dude,
I would.
he's killing it. He really is. That
So
was a
you know what happened with Carrie Lake, or not Carrie Lake, with Charlie Kirk? So remember, I told you he told me he would try to get me a picture with Trump.
yeah.
So because I got to the venue so late, I couldn't like interact with any of his team to get backstage or get any access
It was too
presses or
close. Yeah,
passes.
yeah. I
So
know.
the rally was over, and everyone kind of has to leave. I said hi to Abe Hamaday, my guy, and we were supposed to hang out in Phoenix after the rally, but he had to do another event, so hopefully next time. So I leave the rally, and then I'm with the Twitter guys. I dab up Colin Rugg. We talk about Twitter and how he beats me to every story. This guy is so good, and we talk about everything. Then we sit at the Renaissance Hotel, which is right next to the venue, and I'm just sitting there 30 minutes. So I texted Charlie Kirk after his speech. I said, "You legendary speech, like great work." And he didn't respond because he's obviously backstage with RFK, all kinds of commotion going on. And then I just noticed something. Two dudes, or one guy walks to me. He points at me and he walks to me and he's like, "I'm Charlie Kirk's assistant. Charlie is so sorry. He couldn't get back to you." I'm like, "Oh, nah, it's all good." And then he gives me his number. He's like, "All right, make sure, like, we're just making sure you're good." And then another person walks back to
Class
me.
act
He's
right
like,
there. That's
from
legit.
another guy from Charlie's team, like 5 minutes walk, comes back in to the hotel, and he's like, so they track me down. He's like, "Oh, we're really sorry. Here's my," like, everyone's just like, man, I gotta say, look, Charlie Kirk did not have to care one bit. Like, I get it, I have a cute Twitter following, but the guy has like almost 4 million followers.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no.
the fact that he was like, I did promise George this, that, and the other. Let me make sure he doesn't think I just forgot about him. But yeah, I really respected that from Charlie Kirk. Thought it was like an amazing. I'm telling your people this, your paid people. I don't think I want to say this to like just anyone else, but just in case Charlie has to get it done again. Um, but yeah, I really appreciated him, bro. He was so cool,
That's awesome, dude. Like,
bro. And another thing, bro, he's gonna
he's
run for
lost,
president.
dude, he's lost weight, hasn't he, man? Because like
He's gonna run for president, Andrew. When he walked into that room, I'm not I'm not
you really
lying
think
to
so?
you,
You really think Charlie Kirk has it? You think he'll do it?
bro. When he walked into that room, the cheer he got was almost the same level as Trump. Like, bro, they loved him, bro. I was like, damn, because bro, he has influenced almost every person's life in there in one way or the other. He has influenced their kids in college, high school with Turning Point. He has influenced like their politics. He has America Fest. He holds all these events, and I'm like, this guy is
Well,
next level.
yeah, Charlie Kirk is synonymous with young conservatives, basically. And he's
Yeah,
he's like a little bit to the right of the Daily Wire. He's kind of like he walks that he's right there. And I know I think he's really good, man. Charlie Kirk.
yeah, he
No,
has what like motion pictures, bro.
and
Oh,
he's good. No, he's good. Like all of his the sound bites that he puts out there, all of his debates and whatnot, dude, he does a fantastic job. He's like the young Ben Shapiro, but a little bit more right wing than him. What did you think though, dude? Because you were there. What did you think about that cop, the head of that police union? Were you sitting there watching him like?
So we were all
I
sitting,
was sitting there.
and the guy next to me was like, "We want Trump." Like,
I
oh,
noticed,
bro.
no, listen, I noticed early on what was happening there because he had this whole stack of pages up there. He gets up there, RFK spoke for what, 3, 4 minutes maybe. He
Yeah,
started speaking and he's like 3 minutes in. I'm like, he's flipping through pages like this dude has a whole freaking speech. And then I'm
yeah.
sitting there watching. I see Trump's face. I'm like, Trump's getting pissed. And I started just laughing because it was just such a funny situation. What
It
did
was
you think
so
about that?
weird. Well, I think the problem is they should have told them, "Hey, look, you're getting 3 minutes. Just let's see your speech." He's supposed to just come up there, endorse Trump, and leave.
I did feel a little bit bad for him because I think he was the only one in the entire room that did not know that he was going long. It was kind of an odd situation like that. I think he kind of felt it towards the end there, and then Trump, of course, told him like, "Hey, you need to hurry it up." But I think he really thought, "Okay, this is my moment. I got to write a nice, endorsement speech for Donald Trump," and he wrote it. It was like, what, dude? It was like what, 6 pages long? It was ridiculous. And
Mhm.
I'm
6
sitting there.
pages, yeah.
Dude, I'm
He was like,
there.
"Let me finish, guys." He was like, "Let me finish." He was, like, begging them to let him finish.
Well,
Eh
he
yeah.
when Trump told him to hurry up, he didn't cut his speech short. He just started reading it
Wait,
fast.
no, Trump didn't tell him to hurry up.
What did Trump say?
He didn't say anything. Trump's such a gentleman. He just sat behind him and he was just, smiling. But you could tell the teleprompter. Well, we couldn't tell. I didn't
Because
even know
Trump
how the
said
stage.
something to him at one point.
No, no. So when Trump goes, come up here to give the endorsement, he steps aside. This dude takes the mic and then he just starts opening up his speech to talk. But look, I think the event organizers did it wrong. I think what they should have done was upload the speeches to the teleprompter, so he reads it and it's short. As you can kind of compile it and make it simpler instead of like putting messages on the teleprompter to get
Yeah.
off the stage. They could have put messages, put a speech there, and then shrunk it. That would have been so much smarter. But it was so funny though. Carrie Lake, I feel bad because she was so loved. Like everyone, she did speak for a little too long because I felt like most people were here for Trump, and what was annoying is people started leaving after that dude, the police guy, because Trump was already like 45 minutes into his speech, and then he brings up the cop. People usually leave because they're trying to beat traffic. It's hot as hell. They
Yeah.
don't want to be stuck in those lines. But the media will take pictures then and go, Trump rally empty. No, people are leaving because they know the speech. They've heard it a billion times, but now they want to go home.
Yeah, no, I did feel a little bit sorry for the guy because I don't think he realized what was going on. I do think Trump did say something to him because at one point it sounded like Trump. I'm not sure exactly what he said. I think he must have been like, "All right," because then he started going a little bit faster after that. Last thing we're gonna talk about, dude, and we'll get off here. We'll end this right before the hour, just for old time's sake. What are you doing now, man? What are you I know you're killing it on Twitter. What other stuff you got in the works?
Well, so when it comes to election integrity, me and this gentleman, the guy I went to call it, he flew in from New Jersey so we could meet up and do that. The Cybertruck thing.
Yeah, yeah. I saw
We
that. Looked like a lot
we
of
are
fun.
we are planning to like file lawsuits using my name if they do something in the 2024 election. So that's
Well, you're
like,
gonna file lawsuits?
well, yeah, because I think it's a perfect optic. We'll tell your viewers this, but isn't it really cool to have a black guy challenge, you know, what would be fraudulent results? Then, you know,
I mean, that's
isn't that like
gotta be
that would
respected
be,
by the Democrats, right?
huh?
That's gotta be respected by the Democrats, right?
Right, especially judges. They're not gonna really under, understand how to like move. They're not gonna they're gonna be like, wait, if I say no, that means I'm disenfranchising a black voter. So those are things we're thinking about. Also, I don't know. I just think I posted something on X and I said this election is so important. Like everything else in my life just has to take a pause, and that is really true. Like I'm really putting all my focus. You know what I tried to do the other day? I tried to launch ads in support of Trump on my business Twitter account.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Right. So I'm
Yeah.
telling your viewers that. And then I called a lawyer friend of mine, and he was like, maybe not, because of campaign finance, and they might say you're giving illegal contributions to Trump, and the only way you should contribute to him is directly and not indirectly. So yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting.
That's perfect. All right, so we're gonna go through a few of these chats here. Bro, guess who we have as a member here? I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Joe Brandon?
Of course.
Dude, Joe Brandon. He's I made him a mod on my channel now. He missed you so much. He's willing to listen to me. So
He's willing to-
he's like,
yeah,
okay,
Joe Brandon.
I'll go to second best. I'll go to white George, white less cool George. We got We Need Peace. They're one of my members. Hey George, how are you? So
Oh,
yeah,
we need.
how
I
are you?
haven't seen that name before, so that's some that you got a lot of people I've never seen.
Dude, my channel's been growing, man. Like I said, it's
Yeah,
been a little bit rough with the live streams getting hit with the ad suitability.
that's annoying because it kills the reach too.
Yeah, it does. It immediately kills the reach, but and I'm not really sure what it is. It's every once in a while I'll have like 2 or 3 in a row that doesn't get hit with it. But
Mm,
then it was, dude, all last week and a lot of it since his assassination attempt has been hit with like ad suitability. And I'm trying to watch what I say as far as like I'm not using any like crazy words or anything like
you
that. I
just
don't
used
really
it.
trust on my words, but I don't know. Okay, let's see. What else we got in the chat here? All right, guys. If you guys want to have a question for George before we get off of here, throw something in here. We got some people here. Hello, George. So good to see you on here again. We got
Yvonne.
Jennifer Gray. She says, "OMG, hi George."
That's a really interesting spelling for Jennifer.
Yeah. Um, Joe Brandon. George's mods are here. I'm trying to find a good comment from Michelle, dude. Michelle's my like super mod, bro. She does a great job on my channel.
Yeah,
If one
that's
says,
why I
"Let
don't see
God
anything
use you,
crazy.
George, wherever He wants to, and you will be blessed for it."
Amen.
So, yeah, man, it really sucks, bro. Like I miss going live with you on Firebrand, bro. I remember you. I think you tried calling me, or you text. You called me first, and then I didn't answer because I was busy. And then you text me and you're like, "Bro, YouTube just took down Firebrand." I was like, "No way." And I give you a call. I'm like, "Dude, what happened?" At first, I was like, I didn't even know what to think, man. I was like, "That's crazy. I didn't think that would actually happen." And then,
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Because I mean, we were doing so well.
yeah,
Firebrand was
we were at what, like 60,000 almost or 65, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, it was almost 60,000.
But we were clipping along, dude. And
Yeah. But it happens, and now look, all we got to do is get Trump reelected, man, and that's the focus. It doesn't like it's not surprising to me anymore when YouTube censors. All we got to do is get RFK overseeing the intelligence agencies in as it relates to assassinations. Dude, imagine the guy whose family was, let's just say offed by the system, gets inside the system and pulls out all the cables from the system and turns it off forever. That's the perfect movie, man. Like, there's going to be a movie made about RFK, and in the intro scene of the movie will be his uncle and dad uh, getting assassinated. So I think that's going to be the most interesting movie ever. You need to get a billboard in Colorado supporting
yeah,
Trump.
this is what
I wonder
Michelle
how
said.
much they cost.
Dude, they're surprisingly not that expensive, believe it or not. I think with the advent of social media marketing and whatnot, I think
Prices
billboard.
can range. This one says Denver. Prices can range from 0 to $1,900. Yeah, that would be
That's
funny.
per
But I
month.
think it would have something this is the same thing I couldn't do with my business. They're gonna say, like, I'm making an illegal campaign contribution.
Ah, yeah, that's actually a good point.
That's why you've never seen private businesses just like post an ad supporting Trump, even though a lot of these, guys could. It's crazy.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna hop off here right before the hour. But dude, thanks for coming on here, man. I in the future probably have you on again. We'll see what we have going on, but let's get Trump elected. And dude, it's good to talk to you again.
Yeah. Fun convo. Everyone stay safe and please stop giving Andrew headaches. There's Twitter.
Okay, I just ended it.
Man.
Dude, did I? No, I didn't end it. I didn't. I thought I did. I hit the in stream and it said in stream. There's like a.
Oh, you got to reconfirm.
Oh, dude, I was trying to do it. Right. Okay, go on. What were you saying?
Oh, now you got an hour and 5 minutes. No, I'm saying they should stop giving you a headache on. Where's George? Like, all right, you just go to Twitter.
Yeah, I've been pointing people to your Twitter, dude. Every time I read a tweet by you, I'm like, hey, if you guys want to follow George, go follow him on Behizy Tweets because he has a fantastic Twitter account.
Aw, thank you. But Colin Rugg is better. This guy, man.
You're hot on his tail though, bro.
Nah, he's so annoying. I love him, but I hate him. Now we're friends. Now we're friends. I guess I have to like him.
Yeah, he seems pretty chill. But all right, we're gonna hop off of here. We're gonna hop off here, guys. We will do this again, I'm sure. I just wanted to give everybody an update, especially my members, because I know a lot of you guys know who George is, and a lot of you have been asking. And I've talked about it multiple times, but I haven't been able to obviously give George's side and George's perspective of everything. So I wanted to bring him on for you guys. But we will do this again. Thank you, George. Everyone, thank you guys for being members. I really appreciate you guys. That really helps out more than you even realize, especially with YouTube pushing back on me and a lot of us conservative streamers. Obviously, George, he got his whole channel taken down again. So all that really helps out. But we will see you guys on the next one very soon tomorrow.
Thank you, Michelle.